I don't think this pedal needs any introduction. The 1981 DRV is one of, if not the king of the guitar Instagram world. And I mean, for good reason, because look at it. It is undeniably a gorgeous pedal. But do the aesthetics live up to the tone? Well, that's something we're going to be looking at today, as well as a couple of different ways that you can use the 1981 and Rat style distortion in your rig. I'll also give my thoughts and opinions on the pedal towards the end, and if you're looking for anything specific, you can check the progress bar and the description below for the timestamps. But yeah, alrighty, let's just dive in. Now, I know that you probably all already know these next points with the amount of information that's out there on this pedal, but given the detail of what's going on internally, it really is just worth running through the specifics of what's going on under the hood, so let's just cover that quickly. The 1981 is described as a highly nuanced preamp distortion pedal, and the starting point for this circuit was a Proco Rat Whiteface, but the designers Matthew Hoops and John Ashley used it only as exactly that, a starting point. They revised everything from the original circuit to create what they describe as a pedal that aims to bring new levels of overdrive quality and nuance to your sound. While it has just 3 knobs, drive, cut, and volume, they're all incredibly dynamic and highly responsive to any adjustments that you might make due to all sorts of internal technical wizardry. Drive controls the gain level, and you have everything from clean boost, overdrive, to distortion, to even fuzz on tap. Cut works as a high-pass filter, so the higher you have it, the more of the brighter frequencies are actually cut. And this works quite intrinsically in conjunction with the drive stage, because certain levels of drive require different levels of kind of brightness cutting depending on your preferences. And volume controls the output, and this is also where the preamp of the circuit lies, so as a result, this is a pedal that loves to be played loud. So from the outset, it really does seem like they've hit the nail on the head with that whole new level of overdrive quality and nuance, because this does seem like a highly responsive and highly detailed drive pedal that is unlike anything else on the market today. Now, these are all handmade, and they're released in very limited runs of different colors and finishes, and on the official site they retail for $250 US. But because of supply and demand, they sell out almost as quickly as they become available, before very shortly after popping up on Reverb for upwards of $300 to $350 US. But alright, so now that we've given the pedal a bit of a rundown, let's see if the tones that we can get from it live up to everything it seems to promise. Okay, so now that we've heard a couple of different tones from the pedal, let's now take a closer look at a couple of different ways that you can use the 1981 and Rat style distortion in your rig. Now, traditionally the Rat sound is quite intense. It has very harsh clipping with quite searing higher gain. But part of the reason it's as popular as it is how versatile it can be in any given setup. Firstly, you can use it in the conventional way as just a classic, albeit very tasty dirt pedal. You set the drive to 12 o'clock, the filter to taste, and then for the volume you want to make sure you have that at 2 o'clock or higher to make sure that you hit the sweet spot with the preamp that's in the circuit. Secondly, you can use it as an overdrive, which is also stackable like an overdrive. Set the drive to around 8 o'clock, again filter to taste, and again volume at 2 o'clock or upwards. Next, you can use it as a classic Rat for that kind of wall of sound chaos by maxing out the drive and again filter to taste and again volume up. And lastly, you can use it as a clean boost, which can work as a pre-drive boost going into the front of a dirty amp. But you can also use it as a boost for pedals, and one particular way that I like to use it is as a post-drive boost for lead lines and solos. This is because I like the sort of brightness and the glassiness that the pedal adds on top of your signal, which I think helps it cut through in a way that is a little bit more unconventional. But finally, something else to keep in mind is that while traditionally Rat pedals don't really clean up too well off the volume pot, I've found that the 1981 manages it quite well. My only takeaway from it is that given how closely linked the drive and cut adjustments are, when you change between lower and higher gain, you do get a little bit of a disparity when it comes to the overall brightness. But honestly, I think it's quite manageable, especially if you find a setting that you really like. When I first picked up my 1981, I wasn't quite sure what to think. I did buy it without demoing it. I watched every video and read every article there was out there, and eventually when one became available, I did pull the trigger and buy it, and it is the single most expensive pedal that I own. And when I got it and I unboxed it and I plugged it in and played it for the first time, I did have a moment when I kind of questioned what I'd done. And after a couple of hours of kind of endless tweaking of putting it in different positions with different settings and everything, I ended up actually taking it off my main board altogether and moving it to my secondary board because it just didn't fit. And it was only after a couple of days that I decided to go back and give it another go, and all of a sudden, it sounded amazing. Nothing like what it did before. Using it on my secondary board, I had it working as a sort of preamp always on pedal, and I had a pre and post drive boost to sort of control the different levels of gain. On the pedal, I had the drive set to quite low, quite high on the bright, and the volume at 2 o'clock or upwards, of course. And the tones that I was getting from it were amazing. They were crystal clear with these incredible upper overlaying harmonics. And when I stepped on the pre-drive boost, which was a way huge conspiracy theory clone, it kind of fattened everything up while still keeping that incredible upper clarity. But to answer whether or not this pedal lives up to the hype that surrounds it, I honestly don't think I'm in any position to give an answer because I genuinely don't know. I'm still relatively new to the world of pedals. It's only in the recent 2 years or so that I've really come to appreciate them. So I'm still kind of finding my way, but I can say that for me, this pedal, albeit after a few days, didn't disappoint. One piece of advice that I'd give would be to, if possible, find somewhere where you can demo one of these in person before buying it. And I know that's a bit rich because it's something I definitely need to take on board myself. But my main piece of advice would be that if when you pick one of these up and you start playing it, if at first it doesn't work for you, to give it time. So try it in as many different signal chains and positions and rolls as you possibly can, or even just stop playing it altogether for a couple of days as I did. Because I can confidently say that when you do find the place that this works for you, oof. I would say that this is somewhat of a marvel of sonic engineering, and I do feel quite fortunate to own one. But alrighty guys, that about does it for today. And as always, I hope that there was something in this video that was useful for you or something you were able to learn from. If so, please do let me know down below, or if you have any suggestions for content you'd like to see in the future, or even tips for how I can improve my videos. I'd really love to hear from you guys, and I would really appreciate the feedback. So yeah, let me know. Also, if you guys feel like discussing any gear or pedals or anything else like that, do drop a comment below or even shoot me a message over on Instagram, which is linked in the description, because I love gear. I could talk about gear for hours, I could talk about it for days, and yeah, I would genuinely love to hear from you. But otherwise, I will just take this opportunity to say thanks for watching and thanks for doing all the usual business to help support my channel and help support this video. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you guys in a bit.